Hey guys, it's Shannon from iHeartRadio Canada, joined by Jessie Reyez. How have you been?
I've been good, man. Living, looking at the cup half full.
Yeah, that's all we can do right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to start off by talking about something that's very important. The Raptors, they lost. It's devastating.
It is. It is. But you know what, man? Like, I think that they've garnered so much, national respect, international respect, that I feel like you can't do anything but respect the team for how far they've come, you know?
Totally.
And they went hard, man. They fought for it. And just because they didn't win, I think that's a telltale sign of bandwagon fans when they're like, forget it. I'm like, no. No. They still did a lot for the city. They still did great. And only losers dwell in a loss, you know? People that are resilient see that and say, all right, bet we're gonna be ready next year. And that's the vibe I think they have. That's the vibe I feel too.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like, yeah, they've just given the city so much pride. So that's so great. And you also showed your love to them by performing on the CN Tower. How was that experience for you? Are you scared of heights? Was it brutal?
I love heights. I'm an adrenaline junkie, so I had a great time doing it, and I was happy that we actually made it something more than just a performance, something more than just a moment. And I was honored to be affiliated with a team that I'm a fan of, something that means a lot to my city, and also with a team that genuinely was doing and are still doing things to shine light on injustices and like be more than just a basketball team, but actually like do heroic shit, because it's not an easy thing to do, especially on a world stage. So I was happy for the opportunity.
Yeah, that was so cool too, watching the Raptors with that, because like all you could see is like Black Lives Matter everywhere, even on their jerseys and everything, which I thought was just that was sick.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was sweet. Okay, so many people this year have been spending times like in their apartment. I've been in this apartment working since March, and I know you debated coming out with your album when you did because you weren't sure if it was the right timing or not. First of all,
Yeah.
I think it was the perfect timing. I feel like it was so great. Like it definitely helped me in the pandemic, and I'm sure so many other people. And so much of a theme of your album too is mortality. Where did that come from? Has that always been something that you've had like a fascination with?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, like, to give you to sum it up, my mom my whole life would answer people if God allows. So if she was like, if someone was like, where are you and your daughter going today? And she'd be like, oh, we're going to see my sister if God allows. What does Jessie want to do in her life? Well, she wants to be a singer if God allows. Me si Dios quiere is how you say it in Spanish. But I think that the messaging behind that just always resonated with me, because man makes plans and God laughs. Like we can do all we want, but at the end of the day, we need to understand that mortality is at the core of who we are. So everything could all be over one day, but the second you accept that, the faster you're forced to live in the moment, because you have two options. You either worry for the inevitable that's coming, or you're conscious and you're in the moment and you're making the most of what you have in front of you. So I think that I took all those things into the album, and that's the ultimate message behind it. Despite the tumultuous love songs, despite the emotional dynamics, I think that at the end of the day, if you step back and you look at the project as a whole, it's literally about acceptance.
Yeah. Does that give you comfort with your work and everything because you have that thought process?
At times it gives me comfort, but it's easier said than done, you know? Like there's been times in my life where I've been able to exercise that and call upon mental peace in the face of devastation, but it's not always easy, you know? Like everybody, like you could feel like you're evolved, you could feel like you're mature, and then sometimes life will throw you a curveball, and it hurts, and it takes you a second before you can kind of come back to peace. So I'm definitely there. It gives me comfort sometimes, but then sometimes it's more difficult. It's
Yeah.
just, and you just got to take it as it comes.
I can see that, especially like with the pandemic, because you can say like, oh, God allows, but then you can also be like, but why? You know, like,
But why? Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. So we got a deluxe version of your album. Now we're getting a super deluxe version of your album with 2 new songs. What made you decide to put these out in this way?
Well, it's Before Love Came to Kill Us plus.
Mm.
And man, you ever been to those really nice restaurants where it's like a 10-course meal, and every time it just gets better and better, and you're aware, so you're just savoring everything more? I think that's what, like, that's sort of the idea behind it. I didn't want to just be one climactic exchange between me and my fans, but I wanted to do something that would feed for longer. So I'm excited for this one to come out and the videos that are coming with it.
Nice. I'm excited for it too, because everything you put out is just fantastic. So it's just the gift that keeps on giving.
Thanks.
I love it. Okay, so you were on Beyonce's album, The Gift. When did you get approached to be a part of the visual album for Black is King? How did that go?
Crazy enough, I got approached last year, and it's wild because I was devastated at a certain point. See, this is one of those things where it took me a while to become conscious about it. I was devastated about a back injury I went through. It happened midway through festival season, and I was out of commission. Like, I herniated a disc, and I was done. I needed a lot of physio, a lot of chiropractic work, a lot of things, and we ended up having to cancel a lot of stuff. So I ended up being home, and I was just aching to get back on the road. I was aching to get back to yoga, and I couldn't, and I was frustrated. And then we got the call that she wanted me to collaborate on it. And it's wild because had I not been home and had I been on the road, I wouldn't have been able to record it because they had a quick deadline and everything. I wouldn't have been able to do it. It would have been so much more difficult. But because I was home, because I was injured, I had the freedom to be able to be like, all right, I'm going. So it's just wild how everything happens for a reason. And it was almost like a consolation prize, like the universe and God was like, well, your tour ain't happening. Well, you're gonna be on a Beyonce project. And I was like, it's perfect.
An ideal consolation prize. That's crazy. So maybe you'll get a consolation prize for the fact that the tour with Billie Eilish ended up getting canceled. Maybe something else will come of that.
Man, I'm a strong believer that everything's connected and everything's for the greater good. So, God willing, something more beautiful and greater is on the horizon.
Yeah. Are you big into like manifestation? Do you like all about putting it out there? Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Half my life is a product of that. Yes, I live by that. I have it on my phone screen. Every day I wake up, when I remember to, I always say it's a great day and I'm grateful to be alive. And it really just kickstarts your day. And it's those little things that kind of amount to bigger things because you end up seeing opportunities where there are where there's failures. Even if to other people there might not be, if you can have that ability, you'll be a lot more resilient in life. And I feel like I've been lucky enough to apply that to myself, and that's why me and my team are where we're at. I think that's a major factor as to why we've been able to persevere, why we've been able to get here, and why I'm surrounded by such dope people, because we all kind of have that same mentality.
Totally. And just having that like positive attitude as well, right? Because then you see all of the things that you wouldn't otherwise see if you're like dwelling in the bad.
Yeah, no, for real. And it's nice too, because as much as I'm speaking about it now, like I said, it's not always easy, but the upside to having a team that shares the same mentality as you is that when I'm low, they'll pick me up. If someone else on the team is like, looking at something like, oh, we lift each other, And it's not that it happens, it's not even like it happens that often, but it's nice to have that support, that cushion,
Yeah, totally. I just want to ask one more question. So Gatekeeper is such a powerful song. It's so great. And it's like you being so vulnerable has inspired so many other women. How does it feel for you knowing that men are finally facing their consequences and this man specifically has been charged for his actions?
Lit. I'm happy as hell, man. I once had a dream with a homie who passed away, and he told me in the dream, he said, hell doesn't exist. Heaven is no, he said, everything you do on earth, you pay on earth. Hell doesn't exist and heaven is beautiful. And it resonated so much with me, so much so that I just think karma's a real thing, man. I think everything that goes around comes around, and sooner or later, what you do comes back. So I'm happy that there are men that are facing consequences to what they did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I'm happy that women are feeling vindicated. There's still a long way to go to see fundamental change in the workplace, in our society in general, in terms of equality. There's still a long way to go, but these little steps, these little increments towards a better future are still progress. So I'm happy about that.
True. Sweet. Jessie, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate it too.